You need the ability to grind your ass into a fine powder. And when you're in that fine powder, find a way to build that motherfucker back up repeatedly. And that's possible. I always fix the things on the surface. If I couldn't read and write, I learned to read and write. I would always fix these things on the surface level. And so whenever something hard would like raise its ugly head, I didn't have any kind of tools to handle it. Like, man, I thought I fixed this already, man. But no, I didn't go deep into the dungeon of my soul to say, okay, what is making you a quitter? What is making you a weak man? What is making you afraid? That's why I kept on quitting and going back to start or not knowing how to get through hard times. And that's why I always tell people, I'm not a theorist. I didn't study, I didn't study a book. I literally put myself in a fire repeatedly like a sword. You put a sword in a fire repeatedly and repeatedly. If you keep on doing that, you're going to get a nice sword. And then you keep on beating it. You got to beat the shit out of it. And that's what I am. Yeah. I became that. I said, okay, we can't quit. We got to figure out what is wrong with you. What's going on here? So I kept on putting the sword back in the daggone fire, and I just beat it harder. And I beat it harder. Before I knew it, I started realizing, all right, man, the brain is starting to get hard. The brain is starting to get hard. The one mentality that you must have in life is that regardless of what's in front of you, you still must grind. I'll never be in the Olympics. I'll never be a professional athlete, but still I grind. I fail at most things I do, but still I grind. I don't want to do what I do, but still I grind. And that one day, you see me down a dark alley, run at 1 o'clock in the morning, know one thing. I was grinding. Stay hard. And I know how to self-motivate. A lot of them don't know how to self-motivate, man. Like, we like to put the headphones on, like before the big game, and listen to the music. What do you do when the headphones come off, bro? It's you in your own mind. I know how to do that. That's the hard part, man.
Do you ever listen to music when you run?
Never. I'm afraid of this. I'm up here. Life made me this way here. I stutter. I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and I'm insecure. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. My reading, my learning, my workouts, my diet. You start neglecting all of that. You neglect one of them. You can neglect all of them a long time. It's going to haunt you. When you start seeing that, my God, I haven't eaten right in a long time. Haven't been sleeping right in a long time. It can only be one of those things to take you off. I'm very aware of my eating, my sleeping, my disciplines of life. And when I started to get too far away from them, it's a hard stop. And the only thing that gets me mad nowadays is that so many people die with untapped potential because they think that someone else is better than them. And they were born not with the greatest tools. You need the ability to grind your ass into a fine powder. And when you're in that fine powder, find a way to build that back up repeatedly. And it's possible. When you come from a small town and you come from a place that a lot of people don't want to come out of it and get out of it, and all you want to do is become somebody, you've got to be able to get out and let your mind see open-mindedness. Because a small town, what it does to you is it closes your mind, completely closes your mind. Not everybody. This isn't everybody, a lot of people. You have to be able to go out there and create open-mindedness. You need space. You need space to see the world. Like a lot of racism, a lot of ignorance in the world, it comes from people not being out and seeing other things, seeing other people. That's why we judge so harshly, because our minds are so closed to the reality of life, period. Self-esteem was built at a young age. I had 0. So that's why that discipline for me was important. It takes nothing to be a loser. And that's why I hold most people to a higher standard, because I know how little it takes, little ability. Like, you need no talent, you need no greatness inside of you, and you can still be a bad motherfucker. You have to be open-minded to the possibilities that I can do this. Once you shut your mind down to the possibility that it can be achieved, there's no way it can happen. So that's why my eyes and my body light up about things, because I know that if you're in a fight, you have to attack. You have to keep attacking. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul of whatever the fuck is in front of you. That's what I realized. I was never breaking the soul of anything in front of me. I started to devise ways to break a soul of a human being, of an object, of whatever's in front of me. If you keep on attacking something, nothing wants to stand in front of anything that is relentless. Nothing. I'm the hardest working guy that doesn't talk about it. So basically, I don't take any days off as far as working out. First thing in the morning time is you have to build your confidence. And every day you're constantly gaining and losing confidence. You're never staying the same. So how you build your confidence is, if you like what you see in that mirror, that's how you start your day off. If you wake up and you look fat, you look out of shape, you not feel good, which is, or you don't feel good inside. So my whole big thing is get up and work out. Shed some calories. Get the adrenals going. Get the mind going. Get all that going. Every day I run. Every day I work out. A lot of people, what they do is they have these finish lines. And I have a saying that says, I don't stop when I'm tired, I stop when I'm done. When I was younger, I didn't have any goals. It's not really so much about goals, it's just a to-do list. And as a human being, if you don't have a to-do list, you're gonna sit back and just fade away. So I've been grinding lately, every day, running over 20 miles a day, getting up early, going to bed early, eating the right shit. Because last week, it started taking a toll on me. I usually don't think too much. Get my shoes on, head out. I've been thinking a lot. That internal voice that's been talking to me. Talking about, oh man, you're tired. Looking at my shoes about pushing back the time that I go out to go run. So I decided to tape record myself. That internal voice I put on tape. If you ever have a hard time out there, tape yourself. Listen to what kind of bitch you're being. Stay hard. I'm no longer a theorist. I'm now a practitioner. I put it in hell. I dissected it while it's in hell, because you can't dissect anything in a normal environment. You can't dissect anything in 72-degree weather. You must put it in the fucking freezer and freeze, and then you dissect it. Dissect it when it's miserable. Dissect the brain when all it's thinking about is, I need to get out of here, man. I want to get out of the freezer. Open the door. And you said, nah, 5 more seconds, man. 5 more seconds in the freezer. And that's when you start to pick that brain apart. And that's what all this stuff did to me. I kept on putting myself back into the freezer or the fire and beating out of myself, mentally and physically. Before I knew it, this is what happened. I am even though people may not believe it, because I cuss, which is hilarious, I believe in God big time. I've had this voice in my head since I was a young kid, so what trained me was that voice. This voice in my head guided me to the spot where I'm at today. And if you don't believe that you're here for a reason, your life will seriously hurt. And I start looking at my life as God put me, some God, whatever you believe in, put me here to go through this. And now I see all the hundreds of thousands of lives I'm changing by the hell I went through. There's a lot of power in that. So my purpose, as I started going through this journey, instead of looking at like, woe is me, God, man, why, man, why? I started looking at it as, it's the perfect training ground. You knew exactly what you were doing. You put me in every situation possible to tell a story that needed to be told. People don't really understand what that is. When you're in the worst environment possible, the worst situation possible, and everybody's looking like, God, man, I hope this ends. And you see that. Time slows down and you see that. You're feeling that. Everybody has that look on their face like, God, this got to go. I don't want to be here anymore. And when I started realizing, I started playing mind games. And I was like, you know what? I bet these fuckers are looking at us, judging themselves about when they were going through Hell Week. About, let me see, I'm looking at Goggins right now. I was better than him. And I was like, okay, you're gonna judge me, right? All right. So this is what I'm gonna do to you. They tell you how you're supposed to feel. You are feeling that way. I was like, don't let these motherfuckers tell you how you're supposed to feel. No, it's day one, motherfucker. This is hour one. So I was getting my bro crew all jacked up. I said, we're gonna take these motherfuckers' souls. So when they had us doing this simple thing that guys were struggling with, I looked on the instructors' faces and it looked like someone had just with their soul. And I looked at my guys in my bro crew and I said, hey, guess what? We own space in their head. We own space. They're gonna think about us tonight. We start fueling off the fact that, man, it takes 1 second of energy to steal everybody's. And then you have all the energy you need. That's all you need. You need to look at someone's eyes. You know how it is when you fight somebody and you broke that. He's like, oh God, man, I don't want to go back to the next round. And you feel like, my God, I can fight all day. I can fight all day long. That's what taking souls is. But you have to have the will, the heart, the courage to go that distance when you're exactly jacked up. You have nothing left to give and give more.
In life, a lot of us believe that we're working much harder than we actually are. We think if we got up early for 4 days, we've earned something. You gotta drop your entitled mindset. We believe you work harder than we actually have. Trust me, most of us haven't. Learn to help yourself. Don't count on other people to help you. Stay hard. The mind's a medieval mother. It's constantly fighting against you. It's the only thing in the history of the world that shows up on time, every time. It has a tactical advantage over you. It knows your fears. It knows your insecurities. It knows everything about you. It may be the only thing in that world that knows all about you. You gotta know about it. Because the end was near. But there were some asshole instructors that would hear the happiness and go right on past the end point. When that happened, everybody stopped talking. Heads would stop dropping. And I started taking soul. At that time, I knew what happened in their mind. They were living off the hope factor. They hoped the instructors would stop running. They hoped the water was never cold. They hoped the weather was good. I don't live off that hope. I wish the water was cold. I wish the instructors keep on running. I wish the rain, when the ending is unknown and the distance is unknown. That's when you know who the you are. Stay hard.
Most of us fail in life because we're afraid of what everyone around you is thinking. That's 100% true. That's the one thing I realized. I walked around and I put these people on a pedestal. Everybody was better than me. So I can't tell you anything about me because you're going to judge me and I'm going to feel even worse than what I am. Always be ready. You never know when your next challenge is coming out of the blue. A lot of people need to have that special event that's down the road that gets them motivated to get ready for the next challenge. I'm telling you right now, every day in life presents the next challenge. Today, I'm minding my business doing pull-ups, sitting here doing pull-ups, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the minute. This guy wanted to jump in. We get to 30 minutes. He looks at me, thinks we're almost done. We get to an hour. He said to me, how many can you do? I say, one more than you. Always be ready in life. Stay hard. I want you to go there with me. I'm taking you there with me. I'm a storyteller. I want to take your ass down paradise. So the house I lived in Buffalo, New York, that I got my ass beat every day, funny. We lived on Paradise Road. And it was anything but paradise. So I want you to go there with me. You want to learn from me? Let me take your ass home. Let me take you there. So that's the whole thing about it, man. We're scared to dive into our lives. What made us who we are? The beautiful people that we are. We're all jacked up in so many ways. That's the beauty of us. That's the beauty of me. I'm jacked up. But I figured out my own little process on how to get unjacked up and I'm not going to get the same, I'm not going to get the same way you're going to get there. You may get there by going point A to point B. I might go point C to D to E to F. I'm going to be there the same way you are, just a little harder. That's how I train my brain. So it's just different. It was just different thinking.
One thing I found out in my life, I used to always want people to accept me and like me. So I became who they were. If you like something and I didn't like it, I liked it because you liked it. Become unapologetic of who you are in your life. If you get after it and you're a hard motherfucker, get after it. You gotta make yourself better than what you think you are. And what that requires is people to not understand you, not know you, not get you at all. Look at you like you're off. Look at you like you have a problem. Don't worry about that. Be unapologetic Get after it, stay hard. Be who the you are. Stay hard.
What are you doing today, tomorrow, the next day? That's why I don't listen to theorists. I don't listen to all that bull. I listen to a mother who's like this, man. What's wrong, man? I'm tired, dude. Why are you tired? Because tomorrow, I gotta do it again, man. Whatever it is that made me nauseous and sick to my stomach, it made me hurt. There's no ending. And that's the person I listen to. That's the person who's gained knowledge. You gain knowledge through suffering. And on the other end of suffering is a world that very few have ever seen. It's a beautiful world because that's where you find yourself. You don't find yourself in over here. You find yourself on the other end. Like the 100-mile race I was on, I ran it for 24 hours. I found myself on the other end.
So today, I decided to try to PR my long run. So the first half of the run, I'm feeling great. My mind is clear, nothing going on. Think about nothing but my running pace, what I'm doing, my breathing, everything like that. So this guy just passed me. He said, Goggins, just be average today. Some of you just don't understand. Some of you have been average for so damn long, you don't know what it is to do hard work. But there's a lot of you out there who want to be much more than average, but just don't know how to do it every single day, the grind. You need to find someone to oil those gears up. So check it out. This is a mindset. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But there's a motherfucker out there who wants what you have, who wants the position you are, who wants the job you have, who wants the wife that you have, or the husband. There's someone out there hungry and wants everything you have. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But if it is, it's gonna be your ass. So make that a motivation for you. Stay hard. Let me tell you something. Those that criticize others, they really got something going on with themselves, which is why they're criticizing you. Quick story. Had some family come in town, eating some breakfast. Goggins is nowhere to be found. I'm out for a little workout, a little run. I come back in from my run, here come the jokes. Oh, let me guess. You were out running. You probably gotten 100 miles this morning. All the sarcasm, boo. You know how it goes. I annoy people. And they let me know about it. I never say shit to them. But they have no idea how annoying it is to me. Every morning I wake up, I get a chance to see your lazy ass in bed. Stay hard.
I love these men, but there's very few of them. There's very few of them. And there's very few that are willing to go there more than once. A lot of people, even people who've gone through special ops, it kicks the shit out of them to a point where in their mind, what got me bad in pararescue was when I was going through it, I said, I'm only going to do this one time. And so many people in special ops, whether they believe it or not, in anything, fuck special ops in anything, that's hard. I'm only doing this one time. Once you say that, you fuck yourself.
When I was in the military, we go on these instructor-led runs. Most of the time we knew the start and end point. So on the way back, I started seeing people getting happy and shit because the end was near. But there were some asshole instructors that would hear the happiness and go right on past the end point. When that happened, everybody stopped talking. Heads would start dropping. And I started taking souls. At that time, I knew what happened in their minds. They were living off the hope factor. They hoped the instructors would stop running. They hoped the water was never cold. They hoped the weather was good. I don't live off that hope shit. I wish the water was cold. I wish them instructors keep on running. I wish for rain. When the ending is unknown and the distance is unknown, that's when you know who you are. Stay hard.
I prioritize trying to win the battle in the morning. Every morning I go for a run. That's the first thing I do. Every morning, haven't taken a day off of running since December 2016. So I also stretch out. every day for about 2 to 3 hours. Every day. I've missed 2 days in about 5.5, 6 years. And about 4 days a week, I'm in the gym hitting the weights. Because you can't just be a runner. So this is every single day. The monotony of my life, but this is what builds discipline. And not everybody, I'm not telling everybody to do this, but this is my lifestyle. This is how I build self-discipline.
What are some of the most valuable things you learned in the Navy?
You know what? Some of the most valuable things, a lot of people say teamwork and stuff like that. Teamwork is big. But I learned that you have to be a good individual first. You have to triple down on your weaknesses, because a lot of times, you always count on your buddy.
So there's different leadership styles. One right.
I'm having a hard time trying to find a place to run, but I'm spending a lot of time on, the elliptical trainer. I'm making it work. I don't mind London at all. I've been a lot of places in the world. London's good. You know what? For me, most of my life, people didn't know it. I had to tell them the truth. My mom got abused physically and mentally by my dad. And so I kept everything from her pretty much. Whenever I wanted to tell her something, it seemed like bad shit was always happening, not just to her, but to me also. But at a young age, I felt like I was a man of the house. So I didn't want her to know anything about my life. Like what I was going through. I had a learning disability. I still have a learning disability. My dad beat the hell out of me. School wasn't great for me. So everywhere I went, I was having all these kind of obstacles hit me in the face. So I just hit it. So I became a really closed person because I didn't want to stress her out anymore. So I became this person who walked around with like two sides of David Goggins. There's one side that was like, I'm a tough guy. That was the outside surface. But on the inside, I was a kid that was just hurting, that needed all kind of help, but no one knew it. I never talked about it because why? That showed weakness. And my mom didn't need to hear it. At least that's what I thought. So, for me to come out and be this vulnerable, because everybody thinks I'm Superman. Everybody thinks I'm Superman. So I had to tell them the truth. And the truth is very important. And for me, a lot of years of my life growing up, I lied a lot because didn't have a lot of friends, felt socially just all kind of awkward. I was hiding all kind of stuff. So you do whatever you can to create another human being that's acceptable, that you think is acceptable in society. And when I did that, all that came out was a bunch of shit, a bunch of lies, a bunch of filth, a bunch of nothing. That's who I am. I was lazy. That's who I am. But what I found when I was 297 pounds, so I'm not a guy that read a book and said, oh, they're the answers. All this came from here. It came from me putting myself on the hot seat and then saying, okay, wow, okay, 297, this is where my mind was at. To get to 187, this is where my mind went to go through 3 hell weeks, to run 205 miles, to do 4,030 pull-ups. And I'm a natural born fat guy. Even though I was born 175, I gained 125 pounds. I was lazy. That's who I am. I'm a guy that likes to sit back, watch TV, and eat pizza. Through a process of time, I realized that I was lying to myself and lying to people. What got me to this point was I was just the opposite of what I am today. I was that guy who ran away from absolutely everything that I got in front of me. But not many people knew that. I had 2 people. The real me was like this very scared, insecure, stuttering, got beat up by his dad, all this kind of stuff. And then I built this fake person that walked around like my shit didn't stink, Right. Yeah, so that's kind of how I did it. But what they don't understand is they don't understand the journey that it took me to get to this point. Well, it's a long process. In my mind, I was always afraid. My whole life I was afraid, but I had this voice, this conscience that would always be battling me, saying, hey, you got to get up and do something. I didn't want to do shit. I was just afraid, but that voice would force me to get up, and I decided to make moves.
Into a fine powered, and when you are the fine powered find a way to build that back up. That's possible. I always fix the thing on the surface. If I couldn't read them right, I learn to read them right. I could always fix those things on the surface level, and so whenever something hard with like this ugly head, I didn't have any kind of tools to handle it. Like, man, I thought I fixed this already, man, but no, I didn't go deep into the of my soul to say, okay, what is making you and quitter? What is making you a weak man? What is making you afraid? That's why I kept on collecting and going back to start or not knowing how to get through hard times, and that's why I was tell people I didn't study like I didn't study a book. I literally put myself in a fire, repelled it like a sword. You put a sword in a fire repeatedly, and if you keep on doing that, you are going to get a nice shower, and you keep on beating. If you got to beat this out of it, that's what I am.